Dustin Poirier. He's about to fight Conor in that trilogy. I mean, first off, how do you see that trilogy playing out?
I don't know. I see Conor maybe winning this one. I think he'll make the adjustments and winning. But regardless, either one of them, I don't think have the complete game to beat somebody like Charles. With Charles, you got to be on your P's and Q's the whole time, and you got to have the skills behind it. I think Dustin's had a lot of fights, and he's kind of coming to his own. But I think he's starting to hit a plateau period where he kind of does what he does, but there's no new wrinkles added to his game. You got to hit Charles with something new.
I think it's a pick 'em. I think Conor, of course, will be ready for the leg kicks. I don't know if he'll ever get himself conditioned enough to be ready for Dustin sprints, his go agains and go agains and go agains. The way he does that, it's a beautiful way of fighting, and it's unique to him. And it's hard to get ready for inside of a gym without getting in real fistfights, real wars. So he does that so well. He's going to put them sprints on Conor, and Conor's conditioning needs to be ready for it. Outside of the kicks and the sprints, whoever wants that strap the most. And Dustin's never tasted it. Dustin's never got the real belt. And, I'd have to always go with the guy who hasn't tasted it yet. He's tasted the life, the hundreds of millions, he tasted the straps, all of it. So there's something deep down in Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, Charles Alvarez, just deep down in desire in these guys who haven't tasted it that you kind of lean it over toward their way.
I think it's the same as the second fight. I think it's a 50-50 fight. I still think that. I think that Dustin Poirier should be the favorite. I feel like that's rightfully so. However, what I do know about Conor is that he is very intelligent, and everybody can make mistakes, right? I think he did get too into the boxing. He's training for. You cannot perfect both. You can't be perfect in both. And when you fight Dustin, you've got to be perfect. And I think he had just gotten a little too distracted by the money in boxing and, all of that. And he thought, well, if I have the great hands, I'll beat him in that department. But then he got the legs kicked off him. So, look, if he can fix that calf kick, this goes back to a 50-50 fight. He looked great in the first round. He hurt Dustin. I thought he might. I was like, ooh, this might be early night and he might get it done. It's a coin flip. It really is a coin flip.
I know. I think Vegas, if I stand correct, I think they have Conor as the favorite, which I was kind of surprised with because looking at Conor, I'm a diehard Conor fan. I love what he's done for the sport. It's been a hell of a ride. I'm just curious. And he recently sold his proper whiskey. I think he's made over $150 million just doing that deal. He's the highest paid athlete of 2020 in the middle of a pandemic. So I'm just curious about his motivation. And I think for him, it's about legacy, and this is a legacy fight for him. And obviously, he wins this, he gets a crack at the title. And I think he does match well with the champ in Charles Oliveira. It depends what version of Conor we get. If it's not an extremely better version of what fought Dustin Poirier that second fight where he lost in the leg kicks, it's going to be the same result. So I hope, the hungry Conor shows up. But listen, a guy that comes off a yacht in the middle of, Dubai and he's in Gucci, pajamas, it's tough to get up for the fight, man. It just is. So it's up to Conor. I hope it's vintage Conor.
Do you think that Dustin will beat Conor in their trilogy?
Gotta think so, right? Probably.
How?
I just think he was so convincing, and I think Conor's got to the point, and he doesn't want to admit this, and his fans don't want to admit this, but it's happened not only with him, but with many other athletes. When they make the amount of money he made, and when they get the amount of fame he's had, it's fucking hard to go train like a madman, right? I mean, that's something that we do. Even me being older now, like I can be very disciplined with my training. But I don't have that same fire I did when I was 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. And then if you have, I'm relatively well off, but if you have $100 million or whatever he has in the bank, and then, you see him on these private yachts everywhere, he's doing things like, man, it's got to be hard for him to want to train hard. And, that's kind of what we saw in the Dustin fight. He looked good for, I don't know, 5-ish minutes or so. And then Dustin started eating up his leg and then put him out in the second round.
I think now, looking back at it now, it's going to be Dustin again. And I was wrong. I was really thinking I underestimated his mindset because of the first fight, how that kind of happened, and just knowing Conor, how he's gotten his head. But also, Conor lost his mojo a little bit. He should have continued to keep being the bad guy, because that's what's helped him. But now he just has to be who he is right now, because that thing, as a competitor, that thing's going to hurt you. You know, now people know that you're going back, oh man, you're just a facade. You really are a persona. Be you, man. Be you. It's like, you know, hell, obviously, I do my criticism, but it is part of me. I just turn it up a notch, and then I have fun with it. But at least I'm me. You know, and that's what's allowed me to be successful. So if I was Conor, again, this is the last freebie I'm giving you, Conor McTapper. You make nuggets. It's master the defense, man. I'm sorry, master the distance. You master the distance with your composure, with your accuracy. It's game over. Learn a little bit of tricks about getting with wrestling. Even when he fought Khabib, if I was to be Conor's coach, I'd tell him, you over wrestle position where you could have just limped and got out. But he wanted to demonstrate that he had defense, and that was a huge no-no against a guy that knows when they make you work, they're going to soften you up and then eventually finish you within the 4th and 5th round. So, Conor McTapper, that's it. Those are the last 2 advices I'm giving you. Next time, I'm charging you, and you're bending the knee as you pay me.